Pirates, we're back here with another video. Your favorite pirate crew, Big Beard Pirates TCG, 3-piece TCG. We got here today our boy IZZY.
What's up?
Recently participated in Egmans 4-box SAO tournament for Union Arena, and he cooked. He got 8th place with Green Lancelot.
Green Lancelot all the way.
How did that feel, Izzy? How did that feel?
It was pretty good, you know. Got the 4-0 at the beginning, but, you know, kind of fell at the end. A little tired, but you know what it is.
I feel it. It was kind of late, so I don't blame you. I got washed. I also participated in the tournament with Purple Code. Those Esper sisters, spooky.
Yeah, 03 barbecued.
Yes, sir. They're like, hey, you like grilling? Yeah, we're gonna cook you, brother.
Make sure you're well done.
Yeah. Nah, no lie. I was feeling defeated. I was like, no. When I got my first win, I was ecstatic. I was like, yes, sir. But before we get into this deck profile, what were your matchups like?
All right, so first round, I had a metal bat. It was a little, and then, you know, I won. No, I'm kidding. Second round was Blue Sukuna. You know, a pretty strong deck in the meta, I would say. But, I mean, I think I was able to push damage before he was able to get... He barely got 2 fingers by the time I killed him, so... Yeah. And then third was Esper Sisters.
Ooh.
Esper Sisters. I went for, like, the early chip damage first, and it actually worked out for me. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. And then fourth was Yellow Megumi, surprisingly.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a pretty cool guy. I played him before. He's been holding on to that deck, you know, since the beginning of time.
That's his baby.
Yeah, that's his baby. Yellow Megumi. The dogs. Shadow Dogs Unleashed. Oh, yeah. And then fifth round, Yellow Saitama. Fortunately, you know, I didn't have too much matchup knowledge, so I ended up losing that. That was pretty close. And then sixth round was another Yellow Saitama. So Yellow Saitama, the first one was a Yellow Saitama, Genos, and Blizzard, and then the other one was just Saitama, Genos, and then he had like the King package as a bottom end.
Oh, I hate that card.
Yeah, so he's able to like restand the Saitama.
At the end of the turn.
Yeah, he only did it once though. It wasn't really that important in my opinion.
But other than like the lack of knowledge, like if you would have like gone through this again, knowing that knowledge, do you think you probably would have talked?
I mean, I think I at least would have gotten second place. So the other person, so if I had won against the Yellow Saitama, I would have played against Purple Code Geass. That matchup, it can be pretty like 50-50, but I think it's probably like 55-45 in favor of Purple Code Geass. Just because you have way more, it's a lower end, so you can do a lot of chip damage, and then you're able to clear out 5k bodies pretty easily with like the force blocker.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I would need like multiple bodies on board. So.
Sounds like you need more Teslas, bro.
It's all good.
Gotta get a community up.
Sounds like we need to build a deck.
Yeah,
bro.
we need more people in this community. Maybe they should build.
Bro.
Now with Sword Art Online coming, maybe we'll get some new blood.
Yeah, bro. Every new set, we'll always get new blood.
Oh yeah. Let's get into this deck profile.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So starting off with the deck list, we have our 0-cost Suzaku. So it's obviously our raid target with a get trigger. Obviously, very much needed. And then the next 0-cost that I use is Euphemia. Very much an MVP in this deck, in my opinion. It let me get out like the turn 2 6-cost Lancelot to get the damage too early. So yeah, very important.
Those are the rares.
And then we've got our last 0-cost, which is the Britannian Soldiers. It's pretty nice for the early chip damage. 2k is very nice. And then we got our 1-cost Euphemia. She can be pretty important in certain matchups, especially against decks that its only removal is special. It ends up being very important. because they're having to remove this. And basically what it does is, if on the front line, characters on the field other than Euphemia can't be chosen by abilities on event cards from your opponent's hand. Also has a draw trigger. Draw triggers were very important because you do run out of hand really quick. Then next, we're actually going to 3 cost. So our first 3 costs is obviously our color trigger, very important. Always a 4 of. Probably one of the best cards in the deck because when played, draw a card. Getting extra cards in your hand is always good, and it has 2 energy, which is very important in a 8 energy deck. Next one is, we're going for the Jeremiah. So I have 3 Jeremiahs. Step, double block, very good against early aggro. Like most decks, once they see that I'm playing Green Lancelot, they're just gonna start like pushing up on their first thing. So this guy is very good to stop that aggression. Next, we actually have Valletta. So it didn't come up during any of the matches because it's kind of like a OPM meta right now, so it's like usually yellow or green. But you know, if there's a card on the opponent's field that's red or purple, then it gets reduced by 1 energy cost, so it'd be 2. Which is, I think in my opinion, this is a very important card for like matchups like Purple Code Geass and Purple Bleach. Also a 2 energy generator. I sped up too much, We actually got Charles. I think very strong card in my opinion. Basically, when played, he's a 2 AP, but you know, for 2 AP he does a lot. And most of the time he's free using his effect. So you look at the top 3 cards, and then you can add any 1 card, and then you put the rest on the bottom. So what this is basically saying is, I'm grabbing a card, and then my opponent is not seeing what card that is. And then I'm able to reduce an event card in my hand. The next time I use an event card, it gets reduced, which is very, very nice. So, you know, you can use your final with this, and it's free. And then you have like a body up front that's 3K. And then you're still able to do your play, and you search for something. So next, this is a 1-of. This actually came up like twice during the tournament, because sometimes you're not able to get that last 2 energy generator. This guy can help you out where you end up, you know, having the 0 cost Suzaku in the back. This can generate 3, and then as long as you have 2 other 2 energy generators, you can get up to your 8 cost Lancelot. And it's also a get trigger, and you can grab it from unit maintenance. Up next is our 4 cost Suzaku. So he's also a pretty important card. He's a a raid target, and also he has step 3500, 2 energy generator, and some sneaky ability that it has is sometimes it's another synergistic part of this is having the Euphemia. So it basically says when a Euphemia Britannia on your field is sideline, you may move this character to your front line. So sometimes when you're comboing into a turn with 8 cost Lancelot, you're usually only having like 1 or 2 bodies with it. So being able to use this effect where it gets sideline, and then you just push this up as well.
For free.
Yeah, for free. So you're getting another hit in. And then even if you're low on energy in the back, you can always just bring him back with step. So yeah, very strong card, and also an active trigger. Next, we have our 6 cost Lancelot. So this is our first raid that we're seeing. He's very strong. I always like to raid with him first. I usually don't like to raid with 8 costs because he's what takes a lot of the initial aggro from like effects from characters, effects from specials and all that. And then he's still able to dish out that damage too. And also when sideline, you can return the bottom of this rated character to your hand. So very strong. Even like the other effect, the when played, becoming a 5K during your opponent's turn is very good for blocking effectively. Then next, we have our 8 cost Lancelot. You know, our main guy, our boss monster here.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. He's a 5k damage 2, and then when rated, impact 1. I've actually hard played him. You know, 5k damage 2 is still pretty strong card. Impact 1, and then when played, you can just choose up to one of your opponent's characters with 5k or less, and then just sideline it. You know, very, very strong. I'm pretty sure there was only one game where I didn't get to go into him, and that was in the last game where I just kind of got high rolled. I mean, it happens. It happens. Okay. And then we have our events. So, unit maintenance is a very, very strong card in this deck because you can able to search the top 5. You can grab a character or a special core head trailer, and if that character is KMF or KGF, you restand the AP. So basically, you're doing this for free. The only targets in this deck that would give it for free are the 6-cost Lancelot and the 8-cost Lancelot, but that's still pretty good. And it also has synergy with Charles. And then obviously, you know, for the final ones, we have our finals, Live. Absolutely. I usually don't depend on these too much. They're really nice when they're in your hand initially, but once you're progressing through the game, you really don't want these in your hand. I end up just like discarding them for special core head trailer, stuff like that. Then next, we obviously have our Varus, you know, our special. You know, very typical special. You know, if you don't have a Suzaku or a Lancelot, it's 3 careless. If you do, you sideline a 5 careless. You know, very good card. So yeah, that's the deck list. And thank you for watching, and appreciate all our viewers. Hope you like and subscribe.